Welcome, paint partiers. This is Liza's Painting Parties, and we have a very fun painting for us to do together tonight. So tonight we're going to be doing our version of Up Close Colorful Kitty, and I'll be walking you through the process of how to recreate this lovely painting. I highly encourage you to put your own spin on it. So if there is a loving kitty that you want to capture, feel free to change up elements accordingly. Like if your cat has different type color eyes, or you want it to be a little bit more realistic, you can feel free to change the color palette and play with that. So we'll get started a little bit after 6 p.m. tonight. I just wanted to jump on a little earlier just to ensure that anyone who wanted to find me would be able to, and hopefully there's no technical issues as there's been at times in the past. So we'll get started in a little bit. I'm so glad you're all joining me tonight. So anyone who hasn't joined, first of all, welcome. And anyone who's back and sees me, hello, I'm glad you're back. So basically the way I go through this process is I will walk you through the way I painted this painting, and I'll walk you through step-by-steps on how I did it. I'm coming from the perspective of the way I find it easiest to do it. Doesn't mean it's the perfect right way. If you have your own way of approaching it, you're more than welcome to do so. If you have a tip, or you want to share something, or if there's something that's just not working right, feel free to pop it in the comments and just ask the group. And if you have an answer, feel free to answer. So I want you to feel encouraged that this is a community space, even if I can't actually hear you and answer you directly in that way, but please do so in the comments, so we can have that cool vibe in that way. These are free events, so if you're seeing me, you're all good to go. If you did want to leave me a tip, there's a link there, and I always appreciate it, obviously, but not required. And I also have a web page as well, so if you wanted to go on there and wanted to book me to do a virtual event, or if you're in the Greater Toronto area and you want to talk about doing an in-person event, please feel free to reach out and we can chat about that. The video is going to be up afterwards as well, so I don't take them down. So if you start watching this, or if you get interrupted, or if you can't join with me right away, it's totally fine. You can watch this at your convenience, either on this Facebook page under the videos tab, it will be there, or you can go to my YouTube channel under the same name, and I'll cross-post it there as well. So it won't be up until I put it up there, but it'll be a couple hours after the live is complete tonight. Okay. If you are painting along, I definitely like to see what you create. So please make sure you take a picture and share it with us. It's very fun. I know a lot of community members really enjoy that as well. It's so cool to see how different people approach it and everyone's different styles, regardless on your painting level. This is a painting that, any of the paintings that I do here, I always try to come from a place of anyone can do it at any level. Of course, the more practice, the more the techniques and the more things are going to look probably to what your liking might be. But I need you to let go of how things are supposed to be and just have fun with the process. And that's a hard thing to do sometimes, especially even if whether you're starting out or whether you've done this for a long time. Sometimes I get so worked up on how I think something's supposed to look that I overthink it into not looking good at all. So you'll hear me say that a lot. In this one, it's very abstract and fun. So I think we'll be able to let go and have a lot of fun with it. I'm just going to take a look at any comments. Kathy, hi Kathy. I hope you're doing well. And Carrie's here as well. Fantastic. Yeah, this should be quite fun. If anyone, the scammers are back. So if you see any random links that come up that are trying to send you somewhere else, please don't click them. I try to keep up to ensure that I am blocking that from happening, because I don't want anyone to be scammed out of something. But sometimes they come back and forth and do that. So please ignore that. It's just annoying because it kind of ruins the flow of conversation. That's, let me see. Spam. Perfect. Okay. There we go. All right, sorry about that. Just wanted to try and see if I can get those posts out of there. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Diane. Hi, Susan. Oh, Susan and Jeremy. Hi. And hi, Felicia. And Cindy. Hi. Perfect. Awesome. This is so great. So yeah, so if you want to let me know where you're tuning in from, of course, I always like to see. It's always fun to see where everyone's coming in from all over the place. I am coming to you from basically Toronto. I'm just outside of, well, anyone who lives in Toronto will say that I'm not in Toronto, which is true. But I did grow up there, so I still feel very Toronto vibes. But I'm in Ajax, Ontario, which is about 30 minutes from Toronto. But I think that's what a lot of us people who end up leaving cities we're still called to say that we're still a part of those cities. Anyways, so yeah, so let me know where you're watching me from, because that's very cool to see. Oh, it's so fantastic. Hi, Diane. Hi, Leanne. Hi, Karen. Awesome. Fantastic. So we'll get started in just a little bit. Like I said, I just want to make sure that anyone who wants to join will be able to join and do this live. Like I said, there's been a few people who've had some issues finding me or getting the notification in the past, so I'm just hoping that this will give them the opportunity to jump in. Hi, Jen. Awesome. So yeah, I'm going to walk through the supplies. So my original painting that I did is on quite a large canvas. I believe it's a 16 by 20 actual canvas, but today I'm going to be recreating it in a smaller version. So I'm going to be using an 11 by 14 canvas board to do today's version. But I will have this available as reference, so I'll move the camera so you can see this as we go along. But like I said, I might play a little bit with some of the colors. In the description, I made note, and I would like you to note, the areas on the image that are darker versus the areas that are lighter. So if you want to change up the color palette, definitely do so. Just try to keep that in mind. So if you want to make it a totally different, if you want to go, I don't know, you want to use browns, for example, and oranges, and then you want to use more of those darker, like blacks and browns in like the darker areas, and then you want to get the lighter colors on the outskirts of it. Just to like show at least the different, let's say textures? That's not the right word. Anyways, like the shadows and highlights of the picture. So I'll walk you through that. I also noticed too, when I had painted this, I liked how I did this eye, how it was pretty defined. And this one wasn't, but it still had darker areas here, but I think I want to make it more defined. So I think in my, the one I do tonight, I'm going to change that up a little bit. Yeah, so in terms of supplies that you need, for this one, if you do have a pencil, I would suggest grabbing it. This does help just for sort of placement, I would say, for this particular painting. So I would suggest getting a pencil or just something just to mark your canvas. If you use something else, feel free to do so. Have your canvas, of course, your paint. So as long as you have your basic colors, you can pretty much paint anything. For something like this that's so colorful, if you have pre-mixed colors, it'll make your life very, very, a lot easier, basically. So if you have that, that's great. So if you have red, yellow, and blue, and black and white, we can paint this. I am going to be using some other colors, of course. I had some like really fun hot pink and some like nice turquoise and some other ones that are already pre-mixed. So I will be dipping into that and playing with it. But again, it's really up to you if you want to go that route or not. If you did want, so just to name off the colors, so you have obviously some pinks and oranges and purples. Again, there's like a turquoise or like a lighter blue. So if you have some of those other options, you can grab them and have them available too. And if you don't, it's totally fine. We can like mix things and have fun with it regardless, okay? And then you also want to have, this is acrylic paint too. I think I might have said that already, but just in case, it's acrylic paint that I use. But you can, again, use whatever you want. I'm using water as well, so acrylic is water-based, so that will help us with the process of getting everything to look nice and blended. And I suggest having a variety of brushes, at least having 3 sizes, like a large, a medium, and a fine. So large, like a medium, and a fine. And the ones that I'm using, realistically, I don't know how much I'm going to be using the big brush on this 11 by 14 canvas, which is what I'm going to be using tonight. I might go more with like the medium size. We'll see how it goes. So it just depends on the size of canvas that you're going with, and how much space we're going to be filling in with each stroke. So if you have a variety of brushes, we're all good to go. Okay, I'm going to put this on the side here. You won't see it for a moment or two, but I will grab it for you in a moment. I was going to see anyone else. Oh, Joe! Hi, Joe! I'm so glad you're joining. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Kim. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Oh, yeah, you were usually at church. That's right. You mentioned that you had to miss it on Wednesdays because of church. So, yeah. Well, I'm glad you're joining. Hopefully everything's okay and you're just going to a different session. Session, that's not the right thing, but you know what I mean. Perfect. And, oh, I missed someone. Oh, Joe. Joe says, do I like the canvas board more? Which one do I like more, the canvas board or the canvas? So, I prefer using actual stretched canvas. I like the way the paint feels on it. I feel like I can paint better on it, if that makes sense. The canvas board I like because it's very thin and it takes up less space. So for like storage, and because I don't like to paint over my paintings, no matter how many copies I do of one, I'm a little weird that way. This just allows me to have it in my smaller house so I can have more paintings in a closet. That's pretty much it. So that's why. But I do find the canvas board, I feel like I notice the texture of it more and I can't get it as smooth as what I would like sometimes. But I mean, it makes sense because it's technically like stretched paper on it, where the canvas works nicer when it's just fully stretched, which is good. But that's my flow on that. Hi Ruby, hi Kathy. I'm glad you're here too. It's been a while since I've seen you like live. That's great. Well, I haven't seen you. You've seen me live. Sorry, you're tuned in. Hope you're doing really well. And I missed some other people. I'll just say hi to y'all. I get Southern sometimes. I don't know how. Hi Trish. Hi Nikki. Hi Sheila. Oh, you're first. Yay! Welcome Sheila. And we have Ruby. Hi Ruby. And Tracy and Barb. Oh, you have church tonight too. I guess Wednesday's like an active church night. I did not realize that. I apologize. I used to do these on Saturdays, but then with my work, my schedule didn't work for that anymore. So Wednesdays was the better night for it. I might have to change it again. I'm not exactly sure. We'll see how it goes. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there later. Oh, and first time for Barb. Amazing. Yeah. So if anyone if you can't join if you can't paint right now, you can feel free to watch first. Or if you have to stop, don't worry. It will all be available for you later. Okay? Cool. So let me have a drink of water. I'm going to move the camera so that you can see the inspiration image as we go. A suggestion that I have is you might want to bring up the inspiration image either on another browser like window or on your phone or another device, just so you have the inspiration image available. So if you get the post from earlier today, it just has the actual picture, so you can just like grab that picture just so you have it just for your own reference. I know for me, I like having control over things myself more, and you'll still be able to see it, but it'll be a little bit harder to see. Hi, Heather. Awesome. Okay, make sure you have a drink. I always have one with a lid so my paintbrushes don't land in there. And we are going to get started. I'm going to move the camera now. Oh, you know what? I should be able to see the screen a little better before I do that. This picture is so big. I might have to reconfigure my setup slightly. Push that over. Oh no! Don't make it fall. I almost meowed. I guess that's appropriate. Alright. So now you can see the colorful kitty. Some parts might be cut off, but you still get the vibe of it. Like again, if you want to see it fully, just have it on another image or device. You can actually refer to it yourself. Oh shoot, you know what I don't have today? I don't have my paper towel, and I always have paper towel. Oh, that was a miss on my part. Yeah, so I always have paper towel available, but I think I'm gonna have to use some, oh, that'd be scary. I only have Kleenex right here, so I would not suggest using Kleenex, but I'm not gonna run down into our storage area to get paper towel at this point. So, I'm a resourceful girl. We'll make this work. Okay, so normally if you have paper towel, it'd be better than Kleenex. But I like to use it to wipe off my brushes as I go instead of using the water all the time. So we'll go from there. All right, so let's get started. So what I want you to see first is, or I should say, the first thing you notice about this colorful cat is, I would say, is the placement of the eyes. So that's the first thing that we're going to put on to decide where the eyes are going to live. In this particular image, I like that it's kind of on a tilt. It kind of makes it look cute or curious or kind of questionable. I don't know in other terms. So we're just going to have a freehand circle. It doesn't have to be perfect unless you're maybe a Virgo or more of a perfectionist and you may want to get like a proper circle to get. That's totally fine too. Because I'm going to be scaling down the image, I'm just going to be keeping that in mind, but I'm still going to be doing it in a similar fashion to what I see there. So when I do that, in my head, I look at the original image and I think about where the midline is, down the center, and also across the horizon, I was going to say, across, down and across. So this eye here, if we see where it's at, it's kind of like a little bit above, but here more or less. I kind of like eyeball it in my head where I want it. And then I'm going to make this one a little bit higher. And I don't want you to stress too much about it because we're going to play with it. And depending, even if they go more straight, that's totally fine. We're going to make it work. So I'm just going to draw a circle to kind of get the actual full eyeball of how we want it. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see my pencil. Hopefully you will. So. And because I'm going to be using like a darker paint, we'll be able to cover up the pencil lines pretty good. So I have the eye there. And I'm going to have the other one a little bit higher. I'm going to try. They're not going to be the perfect. That's okay. I'm just going to eyeball the eye. Anyone else do that? You get like the weirdest pun-related things to say when you're doing something. I'm gonna eyeball the eye. Okay, let me just look at it straight on my side. Okay, yeah, but I think this one seems a little bit funkier, but that's okay. No big deal. Okay, so we have the eye placement. The next placement I want to put on is I want to do this little nose, the end of the nose. And for that, again, I'm not going to stress out about all the details of it. I just want to know where it's going to live. And the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this with an upside down or a triangle, an upside down triangle where the base would be here. And then we have the triangle coming down. So that is kind of where I want it, where I just kind of put that line there. So I wanted to have a good, it's my imprecise measurements, a good distance between there, kind of in center between the eyes. And we're just going to put in guide of where this nose, the nostrils are going to live. Okay, and again, that's just a guide. So then we know that that's going to live about here. Okay, and we can play with that when we put the color and all that on. Okay, and I'm also going to put in the roundness and the base of the mouth. The base of the mouth. If you want technical terms, you've come to the wrong place. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up. Now, you'll see that it comes just to the outside of the eye. If you are typing questions, I will look and see. I can't do both things at once. So hopefully you can follow along right now, and then I'll check that in a moment. Okay, so I'm going to bring this kind of up. And again, this is just a guide, and then we can play with the paint after we have this. But this will help us. And then it kind of comes around and down. And the same thing on this side, but this side doesn't actually cross the eye. It kind of ends, it goes about halfway-ish. That's where it ends, because it's all like it's tilt. So I'll bring it a bit lower. No, I need it to come here. I'm just going really light with my pencil, but it's still, I don't think it's an HB. I think it's actually a little bit of a harder or softer lead, so it ends up showing with just light stroke. And then I'm just going to place that bottom curve for the mouth, just so I have the placement of those lines. Okay, so we have our idea of where things are going to go. Now, depending on you, you might want to add in some more lines to use as guides, or you may just want to start painting. It's up to you. I'm going to put in a few more lines in case that's helpful to people who would like that. I'm going to check the comments right now, actually, just in case I've missed anyone. All right. Oh, someone else. So Wednesday. So is Wednesday is not good for churchgoers? Is this like a regular thing? If you guys can let me know, that'd be great. Because maybe I should move it or change it or something. Joe says the redneck voice comes out when he gets excited or mad. Hi, Rula. Jody's here. Hi, Jody. I'm so glad. And Rula's here. This is so nice. It's like a big reunion. So Wednesday is church night. It's for small groups. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Small meetings. Okay. Little do I know. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Again, I don't know how feasible it's going to be right away, but I was thinking about moving it. I would kind of like to put it back on the weekend. If you guys have any thoughts on that, let me know. Maybe I'll like do a poll or something with our community, and then we can see what people like. It just depends. Anyways, that's a side thing. Maybe I have to do a live just to discuss random operational things, and you guys can give me your opinions. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this, and I'm going to just place in just the idea of where I want the eye to, the curves of the eye. So on this one, I want it to come out, but like, oh man, right, so sharp, isn't it? I feel ill-prepared with some of my tools today. Clearly, I can't believe I forgot paper towel today. Oh my goodness. I'm just going to bring that out, but again, I might play with that too. And then it's going to end up, I am going to bring it down more afterwards, but in some capacity. And this guy is going to come more down, almost down the center-ish, I would say. And I'm going to bring that down that way. Okay. Now I'm going to touch on this now again. I wouldn't normally put this in right away, but since we're just going to be kind of sketching in some lines, the center part of a cat's eye is very narrow. So unlike a human eye, which is you put like a circle, I mean, if you did that, it would look very anime kind of like. So if that's the vibe you're going for, that could work. But to make it a bit more realistic like a cat, you want the inside, and I am just going to sketch it, to be very thin. And it's attached at the top, so the black's gonna hit the top, but it's gonna end before it touches the bottom part of the eye. So, and I'm just doing that just to keep it in mind when we actually start getting to the painting. So it's gonna stop about there. So I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. I'm gonna do a curve, and then a curve, kind of like that. Oh, that was, we'll fix it up. So it already kind of has a cat vibe when you put those in. That looks kind of weird. They both look kind of weird. Maybe I should start using stencils. It's okay, no. I'm not going to stress about it because we're doing painting and it shouldn't matter. Okay, I remind myself of this too all the time. as should you. Okay, and then I'm just gonna bring it in again just to give, so that side I don't think even had it. And then we have the bridge of the nose and whatnot, so I'm just gonna sketch it in for funsies. And then that's right. I want it to come, and it comes out more like that-ish. And all in here is gonna be that dark area. So we're gonna have like some cool hair kind of coming out from there, and that's all gonna be darker. Okay, so I think I'm good with that for now. If it's helpful and you want to put in a couple of lines or a couple of elements like that, feel free. I think I'm going to leave it like that, and we're going to start to do the painting for this. Okay, check the comments if there's anyone else. Oh, you're all so sweet. I agree, David. More comments, please. I agree. It's really nice to have them. Thanks, Tracy. I appreciate it. Tracy said I should just do what's best for my schedule and go from there. That's great. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm sorry, Joe. I know drawing's always tricky, but you know what? We can make it work when we start painting. So let's not get too worried about it. It's just for guides, and we'll go from there. I know someone else had asked me, people have asked me now about like using tracers or offering that, and I'm not sure. I'd like to. I'm definitely trying to think about how I could incorporate that. A lot of times when I paint, as most of you know, painted with me, it's the first time I'm recreating it. When I'm doing an original one, then I should be able to have something to offer. So I'm gonna see what I can do on that front. I just don't know what I can commit to, and I don't want to commit to anything and then like not do it. Okay, so where we're gonna start. I want to start by popping in the eyes. I want to start with that part, and then I want to play with all the color from there. And when I say that, I'm just gonna start by putting in the coloring of them, and just kind of getting the outline. Although I'm gonna come back probably later at the end to actually do like a full-on final, because I really want the lines around it to like really pop and stand out. So whatever color you want to use for the eye, that's what you're going to grab now. So I'm going to still do like a green cat eye because I really dig it. So I'm going to use green paint for it. If you don't have green paint and you want to use green, then you want to mix blue and yellow together until you get the color that you want. I'm also going to add a little bit of white and a little bit of black paint because we're going to need that pretty soon. And I'll show you my palette in a moment so you can see like how much of each I'm using. Although, like I said, it depends, because if you're using a bigger canvas, you're going to need more. But I'm just putting a little bit of each like that. Oh, that's so cute. Cassie's saying it's her first time here, and the cat thinks that he should supervise from her shoulder, so this should be interesting. Good luck. That's going to be a challenge. And Tamara says it's her first time painting. Welcome, Tamara. I'm glad you're here. It's fantastic. Okay, great. All right. So whenever we start, so it's going to look really weird and not put together at all when we start, especially when we start doing all the color. So I'm giving you a heads up. It's going to look like maybe like a kindergartner. That's kind of rude to say because some kindergartners are actually amazing, but like it's going to look very simple and like kind of ugly. And then when we start adding highlights and all these little details, that's when everything's going to really come together and come alive. So just keep that in mind. I always have to give you a disclaimer before we start. Okay, so I'm going to start popping in my green to get the eye. My green is quite thin. So you know what I'm going to do? I think I'm just going to mix, because this green's really thin, but I think that when I put some white into it, it actually becomes a little thicker, but not the color I want. So we'll start lighter and then we'll build darker. Okay. I'm doing it this way, but really you could just fill in the whole circle with whatever color you want. It's up to you. And I might do that actually. I don't know. We'll see. I might change the shape. I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go a little bit thinner than what I wanted. And then I might expand it if I decide to. And I did just paint the top there, but that is, I'm going to put black there because I do want it to be connected with the top. Okay, so right now I just have a solid color in there because my green is quite, like I said, thin, and I'm just using some white to make it a little bit more opaque. And that's not like a full-on rule. You don't just do that to make things more opaque. That's just because my white happens to be a thicker consistency. Depending on the paint brand, and sometimes even when you have the same brand, one color can be thinner than the others for some reason. This is just the way like they're made. So just want to improvise. We're going with the flow. Okay, so very light, bright green. I definitely want it darker. Okay, I might get a little bit of black just to like darken it up a little bit because it's just too light. I don't like it. We put some black and I'm just going to pop more green on top of it. So I can't wait for it to dry. I do a lot of painting on like mixing on the canvas. You'll notice that as well. And again, if that's not comfortable for you, you can always pre-mix it on your palette and do it that way. It's just my preference. So the one thing I'm trying to do with this is even on these stages, I want to keep my strokes going down and kind of emphasizing that it's like a circle. Does that make sense? So I keep going like in like a swoop motion. Do the same thing here. I just put in some like little black lines, and then I'm just going to get some more green. And do the same thing just to darken it up a little bit. That's already getting a little bit more to where I want it to be in terms of color, which is cool. And I'm going to leave that for a little bit until, you know what, I'm going to make that a little bit smaller and then whatever, we'll put black. I should have just painted the whole circle. So, whatever, we're just doing that way. Okay, cool. Nice. So from here, what I want to do is, I think from here, I want to start already playing with adding in some of the colors and some of the shadow and some of the movements in there. And I think I'm going to start in by this middle part. And when I did create this original piece, I jumped around a lot. Like I didn't just stick with like one area. I kind of played with color in a lot of different zones, which we may or may not do this time. We'll see. So. And then the reason why I'm not going in and doing the black right now is because this paint is still wet. So I just want to let that dry before I go in and put the actual middle of the eye in, or before I do any other detailing on the actual color of the eye. I just want that to dry first. That's the reason why I'm moving to a different area right now. So I'm just using Kleenex, but use paper towel if you have it, just to take off the excess paint off my brush. And now I'm going to put in some of the darker colors to come in here. So I'm going to be using blue, and like I'm going to try to replicate that one initially. So I'm going to have blue, and I'm going to add red to my palette. I have some purple, I think, somewhere else, but I'm going to, I think, mix these two right now. So I just put a little like dollop of each on there, a little more red than I actually want to be honest. And this one's just a crazy colorful cat, so it's fun. But you can pick particular colors. I still feel like this has a very like Lisa Frank vibe. I don't know if anyone is familiar with Lisa Frank, but she had like lots of colorful stickers and like, what do you call it? Like different types of like school supplies, I guess, and it's all super bright and like colorful and happy, and that was a cool vibe. So I'm just mixing the red and that's what that reminds me of. That's where that thought came from. So I just have like a purple that I mixed from the blue and the red. It's a dark purple. And I'm going to start to just put in some of these lines in here, okay? And that's not necessarily the final line. That's just going to start to like get us going with this process. So I'm going to start to put in and be free with it, okay? The thing is, every spot on this canvas will be covered in paint when you're done. Not in this moment, but when you're done this process. So make sure that you're having some good strokes happening. But you don't have to stress too much because we'll be adding more layers. And the more layers you do, the more fun and colorful and engaging this will be. And at this process, you might be thinking, oh my God, what am I doing? Maybe not, oh my God, that's not appropriate. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? It looks like horrible, and that's okay, because I feel that way right now. So I'm just going to put in some strokes, different colors, okay? Keeping it darker. We're not going to worry too much about what we're doing and how. We're just going to put in some blocks of color and have some of the motions of where we want this to live. Okay, I'm going to get more blue on my brush now. Same brush, I haven't cleaned it off or anything. I'm just going to get some blue. Just add in some strokes of blue in this crazy, colorful mess we're calling art today. Okay. There also happens to be some underneath in this area. I'm going to add a little bit around where the eye and the nose, at that area between the eye and the nose, that there's a bit of shadow, so it's going to be a little dark there. There's also going to be some here. Okay. And there's some under the eye here. And I am just putting random paint on my canvas, so do the same. And it's going to feel weird. And I'm going to add some more outside lines here. There's some more. There's like a swoop, a dark swoop around this area. And again, cool. So we have some interesting things going on. I also have some nice pinks happening that are popping in some of the areas to kind of add lightness to it. I think I'm not going to do that right yet. I think I'm going to add a little bit of white to my purple just to make it a little bit lighter, but to still keep it in a purple tone. I still want it, like, I just want a different value of the purple. I want to add some more. So I have it, I just put a little bit of white and then I put a little more red into it just to like have, it's not really showing up differently. And now I'm just going to try to go into some of the other, I'm going to use some red. I didn't use red on the initial one. And we'll try that. I'm going to grab some pink. So if you want to mix red and white together, you can get like a pink. or if you have a pre-mixed one, you could use that as well. So when you're adding more color on top of wet paint, you have to keep going back and getting more on your brush, because every time you swoop it, it eats it, and like that paint goes away. This is just adding like a little bit of touches. Just trying to cover up all the spots on here. I'm still seeing little white gaps, and I want to make sure it's all dark. Okay. Just playing with it, and it always looks a little messy and weird to start, and that's totally fine. So we're gonna keep that going. I'm gonna let that dry a little bit before I keep touching more and more on there. So now let's just move on to like another section of it and to continue adding some more color. So, and more fun areas that we're gonna build and build and build on. So I think I'm gonna get my pre-mixed pink just for the ease of not having to keep mixing the red and the white together. Okay, so I'm using pink, and I'm just going to start putting in some zones of pink. So I'm going to bring it out this way here. And here. And so, and the strokes kind of come out. There's a nice, there's a nice like motion over here as well. So I'm gonna start to get some of these lines happening. I'm just gonna come down. Okay, and on this side, I'll have some pink too. I'm just thinking about moving out from the center outwards. That's what my strokes are kind of always coming out more. Now, I want to not forget about some of the line placement and some of the elements on that side. So I want to go and get some of that going. So my pink, just going to get some blue in there to get more like a purplish happening. It's very bluey. That's okay. Okay, and I want to put in some of those like fun spikiness. I'm using a medium brush right now, but I might want to move into using more of a fine brush if you're on a smaller canvas like I am this time too. So very like angular, spiky, get the vibe of this like full cat this color in some other spots too. Let's just start filling in the canvas more. And that's how we're going to play with it. We're just going to be putting in a few different colors. I'm just trying to, whenever I put the color in a different spot, I still want to fill in that space completely. I don't want to see like holes of the canvas through it, if that makes sense. I want it to have a nice opaque line when I do it. Okay, so from here, we're going to keep going back and forth and playing with the colors essentially. So what color shall we play with next? I think I want to go lighter because my yellow is similar to my green in how it's very thin. And if I try to put that on top of like a darker color, it's not going to work very well. However, if I do mix that one also with some white, it will create it a little bit thicker because my white is quite opaque. So again, you just want to play with what you have, and if you need to thicken things up, you might need to use some of the other paints to help you out a little bit. So I want there to be nice brightness in some of these areas. So I'm going to pop that on this area. And if you get it on top of other things, it's fine because we're still going to be putting more layers of other colors. So right now I want to create almost like a nice border of brightness. Maybe border is the wrong word, but almost like framing. Okay. I'm just going to be popping it in different spots. Let's make some more maybe like here. Okay. Okay. I think I want to go to orange after this one. So let's go orange. Just check in with all of you. Ah, no, you cannot, can you? Okay, thank you for letting me know, Doreen. I'm going to shuffle it slightly. Let's see. I might cut off the, I'm going to do that. So I know it's going to cut off the inspiration one a little bit. But at least then you can see kind of what I'm doing right now. It's so funny. When I look at it, it looks so wacky. And that's normal. I felt the same way when I was doing that one. I felt like it was very wacky and it made no sense. And I was like, what am I doing? And then it turned into that. So we are going to do the same thing with this one. Okay, I'm going to do some orange. So if you have some that's pre-mixed, you can use that, or you can mix yellow and red together and get some orange. It's up to you, depending on what you've got going. I'm going to keep using this medium-sized brush, but I think I need to switch into a smaller one very soon. So I want to put in some more pointed curves. Yeah. Which way do you want to go? There you go. You look up here. So I'm just kind of I'm just filling in some of the areas that is still blank. And I'm just putting in some more strokes in the same direction that we've had before. Okay. I think we need to go back to the blue zone and play with more blues. I think I'm going to go there next, is blue. So I want to go back to the full-on darker blue, and I'm going to play and put some new strokes on top of what we had created initially. And on top of some of the blue areas we've had created initially, I'm just going to put some strokes back here. Few more, I think. I'm not sure I'm not feeling it there. Okay, I do want to put in, it's going to be a little darker on the eye, so I'm going to put in a little bit where this crevice of the eye is, here. And let's do some more on this side. original. I have a little bit of black too. Because I'm doing the set a little bit different than the original, because I realized I kind of didn't put in that curve in the eye that I had done, or what I wanted to do on both sides. A little darker. Something a little purple. Oops. I tend to put my hand in my wet paint all the time. Okay. We'll leave it like that for now. Okay. I think I want to switch to my thinner brush. It's going to be more specific detailing happening. And I want to pop in the black of my eye. So we're going to go in and follow what we had. So it's going to be kind of attached more at the top, but it closes at the bottom. And so there's some green. You see the green of the eye around the bottom of it. But at the top, it hits the top part of the eye. You can't see very good from the top. Yep. A little bit too low. I don't know. I might have to touch it up with vinegar. I think I went a little too low. Trying to fix up the end, I kind of looked a little frayed, and I ended up making it. Okay, I'm going to go back and not so good because it's not plenty. Yeah, I think I like that a little better. Okay, let's do the other side. So again, from the top, following the line we did. I'm not trying to make the same mistake I just made on the other side, so do want to add a little bit more to the eye itself. So with my already some black on it, but adding more green just to get a few more a little bit more interest to the eye. I need to see it straight for myself too. Okay, I'm okay with that. It looks a little bit funky, but it's fine. It's fine. You want it to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. Okay, so where else do I want to go with this right now? Now I kind of want to put in some of the lighter colors in before I do the highlights around and really define the eye. So that's what I'm going to do now. So with this brush that has a little bit more of a finer vibe to it, I'm going to put a nice orange curve. Almost like highlight the eye with orange so that when we put the darker line, will stand out even more. Okay, and I'm going to do it similar around this side. I'm still wet. It's okay. You can still make it work. Okay. And there's some different colors going on that side, so we'll leave that. Is there anywhere else you want to put some more orange for now? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe down here. Okay. Let's go back up to the eyes and let's put some more colors around them before we maybe above here too. So that could be a little darker. Some purple going too. And up here. I'm just going around and just adding some purpley lines, like around certain spots before we actually put some definition in the eyes and how to make them pop. I just threw some yellow onto my paintbrush. It was already dirty with some purple, and it kind of made this like goldish color that I'm digging. I haven't even touched turquoise yet this time. It's crazy. I'll have to get into that soon. What? I feel like once, or at least once every time I'm live, I like drop my paintbrush. Okay. I'm gonna add some of this weird goldy color that I came across. So I mixed red and blue together to get like a purple, and I didn't clean my brush, and then I just went into the yellow, and then it created this like brown, but the brown has like a bit of a gold vibe to it, which is kind of nice. So I'm just going to play with that color a little bit and put some of it on here as an unexpected surprise. So if you end up getting a cool thing happen, like just go with it if it makes sense to you. I feel like my head gets like right in the way. Okay. Maybe I'll do some more on this side too. Okay, what else do we need? We still need to go with turquoise. So let's do that. And I also kind of want to do a light blue. Maybe we'll do like a light blue first, and then we'll go and play with a turquoise. I'm just going to add some white into my blue to get like a light blue. Okay. And I want to do that a little bit. So throw it in some spots. Typically I like more little notices of these, this like kind of lighter blue. And I'm going to play with some turquoise in a little bit. Trying to remember to do the sides of the painting too. Going into the spots that still have some white in them. I also want to bring in this lighter blue in some areas that we've already painted on. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Maybe start defining some of these too in a moment. Okay. Yes. Let me check in with you in case there's any comments so far. Oh, amazing. You guys have so many comments. I love this. Very cute. Nice. Your cat looks like a fish. Joe, you're too funny. My cat is funky. I love it, Kathy. It should be funky. That's great. And you're having fun, David. I'm so happy you are. And this will be available, Tamara. Sorry, you messaged a while ago and I did not see that until now. This is going to be available ongoing, so I'm not planning to take it down. So you'll be able to watch this whenever you so desire. And again, like every time I look at it in this process, I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? It always looks so wacky. But this is part of it. It will start to come together. I think it already is. I think it already has a good vibe to it. My favorite part of it, I love adding like the whites in the eyes because it just makes them real and just pop and come to life, which is so fun. And then when we get to do all the weird little dots and more specific lines, oh, I love it. I love it so much. Okay, so I'm going to go back with the purple, and I just want to emphasize some areas with purple. So I'm just going to... Purple's so freaking thin. Ugh, it has like no body in it. Okay, annoying. Let's see if I can thicken it up somehow with another paint color without ruining my purple color. Like some have such nice thick consistencies. That's the benefit, I guess, of buying expensive paint. Vermont paint is definitely on the cheap side. That's a little better. But man, oh man, that's what it could be a little while ago. Okay. Joe, I'm still laughing that your cat looks like a fish. That's funny. So thin. Cool. Okay. I think I want to do some of the turquoisey kind of color next. The turquoise one I have is like really fun. It is just called turquoise. It's like a crafters acrylic turquoise. That's the one. I just love it. I feel like it's so bright. The one thing with the crafters acrylic that I don't like as much is that it dries with like a matte finish. So I like the other ones I got. I've been using these ones called Artist's Loft, and they're like flow acrylic, but it dries with like a shine. So if you mix the two, it's great because you still have a bit of that pop and that wow. But some of the colors are just, the crafters acrylic are cheaper. They're only like $1 a bottle from the Dollarama. And there's so many varieties of colors, so it's nice to have things that are already pre-mixed and ready to go. I feel like I'm not breathing. I feel like I'm forgetting to breathe when I'm painting certain spots. I'm holding my breath. Breathe, breathe. some parts of it if it's too much. I'm trying to get some of the gaps. Yeah. Gotta smear that. Silly Liza. Filling in some of these gaps with this turquoise. That's the Alaska. Sorry, I'm not talking as much right now. Just going around, just putting. Oh no! See, I talked and then I messed with my pink line. No! But okay, we'll fix it up after. I'm going to start to put some on top of other painted lines that we've already created. Not fan of that. After. I don't know where else I want to go with this one here. It really is like free flowing. Again, what I'm trying to do is look for any white spots that are still showing up through it and fill in those spots. There's still lots obviously at the bottom and whatnot, but I'm just focusing right now more around the top part and where the eyes are, just to get all the white spots down. Okay, where do I want to go next in colors? I think I want to go back to pink, I think, for a little bit. Maybe. Yes, I do. I still have blue on my paintbrush, so it's mixing in with the pink that I grabbed. Okay. I'm just going to continue filling in some of that here with pink now. Trying to always keep kind of like a triangular point happening every once in a while. Let me break this up with some pink or something. That's a little better. Now, some pink back in here. And some pink in. Here's some of the lines that we created earlier. I'm just going over again to bring the pink back, because as you paint, like I said, you'll paint other things and kind of mess up the straight kind of line that you had initially. So you can go back and choose if you want to line those spots or not. It's up to you. But some of them I definitely do, and some of it isn't on there. This is all the fun, colorful stuff, but it's also, I think, almost like the hard part, because you're kind of just bouncing around trying to figure out where else needs some more color, noticing more white gaps and being like, man, where did that one come from? So we'll get into some of the other spots in a bit. Now, where do I want to go next? I have any like green. Maybe I'll get some like light green happening. And throw in some spots with some light green. They're a little different. Almost like a bit of a greener shade of turquoise. Cool. Some of those little baby spots. It's very very turquoisey actually. Maybe I just make it more green than actually. I don't want it to be so similar. Where else should we still have some gaps? Oh yeah, around the ornament too. I think a little darker. We can make it a little darker here. I'm just going to fill this whole area green and then we might just add some different colors on top of it after. Cover up my little smear mistake there. Okay. Lots of color going on. Wowie zowie. All right. So, actually, I should check comments first. Let's do that. Okay, let me see. So far, still looking like a fish. Okay, sorry, I need to go back. Oh, I'm glad you love it, Catalina. No problem, Tamara. Nancy says the eyes too far apart looks weird. That can happen for sure. It's tricky. I wish I could see it so I could like help a bit. I hope it turns out okay. Hope you're still enjoying it and having fun. Sheila's having fun, which is great. Doreen. Oh, right. That's right. 7 strokes. My goodness, Doreen. And using this as therapy, that's so great. It's true. She said too that this is a good thing because it's so colorful because it hides some of the mistakes. And that's what I love about it too, is that as you go on with it, you can kind of go over certain areas or reline certain areas or go over with another brush. And you just keep, the more you layer and the more you add to it, the more patience you have with it. You can do this for like, it doesn't have to be for just this session and that's it. You can go back to it and like add more and it will really pop and come out really nicely. David, if finished later, oh, no problem. Thank you so much for joining, David. I appreciate it. And yours is still looking like a fish, Joe. Okay. Maybe it's a fish instead. It's all good. Colorful fish. Let's do it. Sarah, you found me. I'm so happy. And Dottie, I couldn't enlarge this. Yeah, that's the trick. And I know both Dottie and Sarah are saying they wish it was bigger. Yeah, I know. The trick with what I'm doing is a little is frustrating in that way. I'm using just like random tools, I guess, like in cameras that everyone else has, and I don't have any fancy programs to like allow you to see the inspiration image better. So unfortunately, yeah, I apologize. I would like to have a better solution for you, but I just don't at the moment. Hope you can still enjoy it, but yeah, it does suck. You can't see things as well as you want to. Okay, now let's do what? I think I want to play with this area first, and then we're going to go back to the eyes. We're going to like wait until we have like super fun to get those eyes done. All right, so I think what I want to do first is, I can't decide. I think I'm going to put in white to get these areas going in white, and then we'll add some shadow and color to them, and then we'll do the nose, little nosy party after. I'm just going to get white, and I'm just going to, okay, my brush definitely is not clean. One second. I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's not horrible because I'm going to be putting some different highlights and shadows and shades and whatnot. brush really sucks up all the paint. Holy baloney. Okay, let's go back and hopefully in a better situation. Okay, so I'm just gonna put white paint. Just to give me a base for the white, just to make it wet. And then when I start to put some of the other colors and stuff to build some shadows, then we'll have that going. But I want it to be wet first. I'm going to do both sides. We'll see. I might have to reapply some white, but I think it might dry. Okay, so I have a nice white coating on that. Now a few things you'll notice from there, we're gonna have, it's definitely gonna have some shadow just underneath where these two areas meet the bottom part. There's gonna be a little bit of shadow there. I'm gonna put in a little bit of purple just to give it a little bit of contour around to make this feel more rounded. And it's gonna be a little bit darker and more shadowy in here and then in this V shape. So like the V shape or the tip of the teardrop shape here, the bottom here, like kind of this intersection, and then we're going to put in a little bit more on there too, and then we can add in some more specific lines afterwards once we have a bit of a blending and a shading going on. So I'm just going to put a little bit of purpley colors, and I'm just going to put in some lines as to where I want that darker shadow. Start having this curved vibe going. I'll put a few lines on my white paint. And I'm just going lightly with my brush, and then I'm just like going back over and kind of blending it in slightly into the white paint, or using the white paint to push it into the purple a little bit more than the original one. Now I put some more white back in. And then down here, same thing. Going with put more purple. And then this curve. Okay. I'm going to just wipe off my brush of the excess purple so that I can try to blend the white more into it. I don't just keep making it darker. Put some white paint back in here. A little bit more blending. Okay. I'm going to put a little bit of gray. So I'm just going to get some black and white with a gray. I want there to be a bit of gray happening. So I want some, oh, that's definitely black. That's not white. Let's get that a little lighter. Still dark. That's what we can work with that. Just want more of a shadow here, put another one here maybe, another smidgen over there, a little over here. I think that's a little bit dark. I'm going to get more white and I'm just lighten that what I did there. And more of a lighter gray. Still works nicely, and I'm just going to go over some of those lines now. again. Okay, so now we have some curves going on. It's looking cute. We're missing that little nose. We're gonna have to do that in a little bit, but I still want to add a little bit more interest to our face before we move on. So you'll notice there's some like interesting color patches happening. So I do have like a little patch of like pink, and that's just to bring some of the playful elements that we have elsewhere into this area without making it a center point or focal point or just taking away for being lighter. So I'm going to make like a little, almost like a smiley kind of shape, or a boat, bottom of a boat kind of shape there. And then I'm going to do one on this side too. Ooh, maybe I should wait till it's dry. It's definitely not coming out very nicely there. I'm going to still try again, even though I probably should wait. No, it's, and then another right there, another right there. There. Okay. And then seeing too, there's some like yellow happening on this side. Just gonna touch a bit on them. A bit of yellow right here. And add some of the whimsy. I'm gonna paint just like little hints of it. And I guess we can, I think I'm going to use my thinner brush. Okay. What do I want to do? I'm using that turquoisey. Okay. So we can add a little bit of those dots. Brush is poopy. The bristles are all kind of all over the place. I can't use that. Making me annoyed. So I have my other thinner brushes. This one would be more copper. Yeah, it's already more of a fine point. Perfect. That was not pleasant. Okay. And a little black dots too. So I'm just gonna do little dots on either side, like where the whiskers come from, where they live. And over some of them. Maybe small. Kind of random. Cute. Cute, cute, cute. Okay. And do we want to outline this guy already, or I don't think I'm going to do that yet. No, I don't think I'm going to do that yet. No, I think we're going to start going in and doing the actual black nose. So let's do that. So now I'm going to go and get my brush. And we're going to fill in this area here, and I want it to be black. Okay. Now we have to still make the shape. So we have the general shape, but then we have to create the actual feel of it. Okay. Which is a little rounded. So I'm just going to start creating almost like a heart, essentially. Okay. few things that we're going to have to touch up on. We're going to have to play with that a bit more, but that's okay. Okay, so with this guy, what do we need to do here? We need to get a gray. We need to get it a little bit lighter so we can create some different shades in here. So we have the actual, okay, that's white. That's white. So this is where those are going to live, but we're not going to worry about that. So we're just going to have the shape. And I just need to make it a little bit lighter because I've clearly put too much black and not enough gray. So I'm just going to mix in some white into the dark, dark black. And I think I'm going to let it dry a little bit and then I'll go back on it and play with it more. I think I'm going to make it actually all grayer. You know what? Yeah. I'm going to make it all grayer, but I want to outline kind of go around, like the nose is here, it goes down, here. And when I go back, you know what, then we'll put in some of the detailing in the black. I think that's what I'm going to do actually instead. Okay. Okay, and then I want to create some shadow and make it a little darker between this area. There's still some white space. That was lingering. Okay. Okay. And then I want to bring this nose more, give it more of a stopping point there. Bring it down that way. Some more of the purple and the shadow in these areas. Just to make sure everything is actually covered the way it should be. Okay. Yes, we are good with that. Okay. Where else shall we go? Okay, I'm still gonna have to go into the nose and play with that a little bit more. Where do I want to go now? I think I want to outline the eyes and start to get that going. Yes, I do. Okay, so let's go back into the black, back to black. Okay, so, and we're gonna use our eyeliner skills for anyone who's used eyeliner, and we are going to give the best cat's eye eyeliner we've ever done before. So nice, thick, fish, solid, beautiful line. Well, and I just dropped my brush again. Oh my gosh. What's the happen? I have really long handles, which I like, but then they also get in the way a lot. I feel like I'm better with really short handles. I like how elegant they were, but I have to just come to terms that I'm not an elegant person. That's not my vibe. I'm just going to also do a bit of a outline down here, but I'm not going to fill it the same way. Okay, so I want to do that side as well. Right, and we also have to do, yeah, we also have to do that too. Okay. So, where should I start with this guy? I kind of want to start like here and bring it in. And then I'm going to bring it out. Okay. And then we need to outline the best as I can. Squish the eye up a little bit. Difficult to do this upright. If you have this flat down, it'd be a little bit more control. Okay, and then there is a little bit of dark right there, I find, and same on this side. So I'm gonna just come around. It's always easier for me to do. And there's a little bit of dark that attaches from there to there. Okay. And then I just have to do this side too. Back. Ooh, there we go. I'll just fix that mistake of putting a line there. That works. Okay, cool. Alright. I don't like the way that is there. I think I kind of messed that up there. It's not so good. So I'm going to try to fix that by getting more green and dark. Just so black on my brush. I'm going to try to make it seem like the eye has a little bit of shadow and take away some of the outline. Also kind of soften it slightly. And I should do the same thing on this side, or else it's going to look wonky on both sides. Okay. Cool. All right. Very cute. Very cute. Okay. I'm not going to do the white circles yet until everything dries, so we'll do that in a bit. I'm just going to go now and use the black, and I want to add some outlines to my mouth area where the whiskers and everything live. I'm just going to put some lines in the zone. They're not going to be solid, like a full outline on it. It's just going to give a little bit of definition. To this guy's face. With a few gaps, but I'm just giving the feeling that there is an end to each part there. Okay. And we do have a little bit of black coming here. Like that, perhaps. And we'll do the same on this side. Like that on both sides. That looks kind of cute. And then let's go back to the nose. Is it dry yet? It's not fully dry, but we can make this work. Okay, so the actual this part here, yeah, it's not dry yet. Maybe we can't make it work. Maybe I should wait a bit longer. And then I still continue doing it. It's too funny. Well, it is a bit darker, so that's fine. I might have to still go over it again. That's okay. And then we want to bring it in Getting a little darker in some spots. And then we'll go in with like white, and then we'll emphasize it more to make it pop. But we are going to wait for that one to dry. For real this time. For real this time. Okay. What else do I want to do? I want to add a bit more color on these areas, because even though they're dark and it's cool that they are dark, I like it. I still want a little bit of pop of color happening, so I feel like they're a little too dark. I'm going to get some, I think some pink, maybe some purple, or like a lighter purple, to see if I can get it to pop a little bit in those areas. So I'm just going to put the little lines, and then do the same thing here. Okay. Cute cat. All right. Oh, I noticed another white spot. Let's just do a little quick look for more white spots. No white spot, but okay. You know what? Let's do that right now. Let's go over some areas that we want them to be a bit more opaque. Okay. Around here I find there's like smaller little streaky, like okay. All right. I think we can go to the white. Okay, put that in there. I'm gonna get my thin brush to do it. I don't know, this brush is so weird. Let me check any comments if you have anything that you need from me. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Barb. That's fantastic. That's kind of what I feel like. Again, I always feel like that. I'm always like, okay, let's see what happens. But I'm happy that you're enjoying it. And Kathy says her cat looks like an Ewok, which I think that is adorable. And is it? Sorry, I can't. My eyesight's going crazy too. Anita says she's painting on a rock, which I think that is so cool, and you need to show that to us when you're done. Colleen's enjoying it. Yay, Nancy is too. I'm so happy. That's so great. I'm glad you're all enjoying it. So it's coming together a lot better now, clearly. Thank goodness, right? But what we're going to do now is I feel like I need to make the eyes a little lighter. I feel like they're a bit too, I went too dark on them. I tend to do that. So I'm going to go back and get some green and just put a few like green strokes on top, just to try to bring back a little bit of the color before I put in that white definition. I'm just putting like little lines of green in like in a curve, kind of following the curve of the eyeball. Okay. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to bring it a little closer if you can see it better. There you go. So that's how the eyes look right now. So we have like kind of little lines going on in them. Okay. And yeah. Okay, good. You can see that. Okay. And then we're going to get white. I'm going to draw the little white circles that are going to make this feel more alive and real. So there's a bigger one here, and so the circle goes just mostly in the black area, but it does go just outside into the green zone. So I'm going to start smaller than where you want it, how big you want it. And then just keep dragging it bigger until you're happy with it. This brush is not the best brush to do this with. Oh my gosh, it's driving me crazy. It's like the tip keeps flipping. Okay, yeah, the brush is not going to work. Let's try this one and see if I can do it with that one. I think this brush is too fat. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's try as circular as possible with the tools that you have, which this tool is just not cooperating. Oh my, that was not good. You know what? I think I'm just going to snip the end of this brush because it is not my friend. Let's see how that works. Let's see if I made it better or ruined it. I think I made it better. Okay, let's try. Yeah, I think it's better. Yeah, that's better. Okay, good. Okay, and then I'm going to put 2 smaller circles. One here. And below it. Okay. The circles, and you add some life. Same over here. We're going to put a bigger one up here. And then this one I'm going to put here. Okay, there we go. So, looking cute, looking like a cute cat. Okay, and now I want to put some of the white highlights. So in here, there's actually this triangle that I have not painted yet. I'm going to keep white. I'm just going to make it a little bigger like that. Okay. I'm going to put a nice highlight or emphasize the circular portion here with white. Okay. And then we're going to put a little bit of cute little line here and here. And a little bit of personality. And put a stroke there. And I'm following the lines that already are in the painting to add a little stroke of white to still kind of emphasize the eye, but still go with some of the strokes that already exist there. And then here, I'm just going to add a few. That is not what I want to add like that. Okay. Too happy with my brush. A few little lines. And then around the eye, we're going to do the same. We're going to put like little almost like eyelashes, but they're not. It's just to emphasize and to make it look cute. Okay, so that's the one side. Looks pretty cute. Okay, we're going to do the same thing up here. So we're going to put a white line like that to kind of circle the eye following the other line we did for that purple before. And then I'm just going to put a few other lines attached to it. Make it look like little whiskers or something. I don't know. Okay, and then also we're going to do the same kind of outline like that. And this one has also a outline like that. Doesn't have to. Like, you can kind of put this in wherever you want to. And then I'm going to do a similar type of line. I'm just going to put that. And then this also has some more lines there. Okay, so now we can just kind of play a little bit with, I just moved that tab of that, where we want some of the white to go. We'll do the whiskers at the end. Oh wait, I have to still highlight this nose guy, don't I? Let's do that. So I'm going to put a little bit of white around. Kind of frame it, I suppose. And then there's a little, that's a little bit, oh, so I know the line was actually over those dots, but remember with that. And then I just want to use the white to do like almost like broken highlights, like broken dash highlights around the nostrils, just so still shows up kind of cute like that. Okay. And then there's also okay. So we're not going to do the whiskers until we're good with like everything else, but we can play with some other little lines and little dots. I'm going to put like little 5 dots there. Four little dots. You can kind of just play a little bit with some dots and some spots. And then we can also just emphasize some of the lines with the white. So again, if you want to just put some white. We have some here too, so we have some. I think I want to start with the white for a moment, and I want to go and play with some of the other colors to add some more lines and random little points of interest around the place. So I think I'm going to start with purple, and then we'll go from there. So purple, it's kind of purpley blue actually. I put too much blue on my brush. Okay. More purple going. Okay, I think that's better. So again, we can kind of go over some of our existing lines and do a bit of an outline. Excuse my brush, it's definitely not cooperating that well. I'm going to just do that just so I can get a better angle on some of these lines. Just to clean some of them up. I want to go back to like this turquoise color. Sometimes I just go back and forth. The more you can make your lines on top more solid, the more realistic and more this is going to pop. So that's what I'm trying to do now, is just trying to go over some of the spots where you can kind of see the other colors coming through. And I just want to go over with the top coat, the top colors, just so they're more opaque. Tedious. It's not fully necessary either. It's just a preference, really. Turquoise. Okay. Okay, so I think now we want to go and put it, put your finger in the paint again. No, don't do that. Well, you can if you want to. Okay. So let's put in some turquoise fun little elements. Turquoise dots in. Oh, that green's really just not very opaque. So let me just put that a little bit before I continue. These little green smidges are also quite transparent, so I'm just going to go over them as well. And that's more because, again, my paint is kind of funky sometimes, so you don't need to go over and do that. And just going to add some more around the side here too. I'll find these. Okay, so now I want to add some more different lines of things. A little bit of purple. I'm just going to go around and just put some purple strokes. I'm going to keep turning my canvas to get a better control of my hand doing this. Alright, I like that. Now's the time too, if you want to add more like defined thicker lines, you can. Okay, I do want to put in some like ziggy zags because I think that adds more, kind of like a 80s vibe to it, which tough kitty. Tough rock kitty. Punk kitty, maybe. Okay. Okay, that's cute. I like that. All right, let's go and do some turquoise. Turquoise elements. So these little ones are kind of like small dot and then a long dot, a small dot, and then a long dot, a small dot, and then a long dot. That's what that nose kind of works with. And you can always just do like little lines. I like to do them in like odd number groupings, but really it doesn't matter. You can do however you so desire if you are digging that vibe. I think it adds a lot of cool like texture to it. Okay. I need to get some of these dark zones too. here too. So let's just put the pouch in right there. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my orange. Ooh, my orange is quite dry. That's okay. We can still use it. Some more little markings. Okay. I don't know where else I want to put them. Can really be anywhere. What adds like interesting vibes to this cat. Okay, I also noticed I missed some cool little. Maybe I won't do it in that color. Maybe I'll do it in. Use a lot of red, but red's tricky. I don't want it to look grotesque. These. Okay. Where else? Maybe here. Put some acrylic dots. And we'll do maybe up here. Maybe some more dots there. Put some there. Maybe a few little lines like that. Red. Like that maybe. I don't know. Where else should we go? Maybe up here? Like that. Okay. I feel like I'm almost done. At the same time, this is the time when it can kind of keep going, depending how much more you want to put on. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. I also on that one, oh, well, there's that wrong way, I suppose. You like put your finger in wet paint and kind of ruin your line, and then try to hide it with little lines. I also did some splatter on that one too. Oh, I haven't done the whiskers. That's what I need to do. I was like, I'm missing something. Splatter if you want. I don't think I'm going to do splatter. I think I'm going to keep it kind of as is, and then I'm going to just get some whiskers going. So let's do that. I'm going to use white for the whiskers and my thin brush. I'm as thin as I can get it, really. I'm just going to make sure I have a good line. And I'm going to start and just drag them out. And sometimes the paint gets pretty dry. Bring them out. And bring them across as well. Ooh, that. Anyway. some that kind of go a little bit more willy-nilly. Down here, and then it crosses. I think that's clean. Oh, I guess that kind of works. Okay. Or that kind of comes up now. Okay. I think feeling pretty good about this guy. I want these to be more white though. Okay. I think that's good. So see how like when you start to continue to layer and put more paint on top of the dry paint and the lines are more specific, more opaque, it just creates it to just seem, it has more depth, and it just really brings everything out. And there's still more to do on here, I think. Some of the lines are still quite messy, I find, on mine. So if, you know, that's something that, again, I could probably continue going on for quite a while until I am happy fully with like the way it is. But I think I'm pretty good with it for now. Okay, oh, sorry guys. Oh, I knew what you meant, Anita. No problem. And Doreen said that she wanted to put a little yellow in the eye. Yeah, I think that might be really good. It was funny because I was thinking of doing a little bit of yellow. And I don't know, I think you could play with it a little bit. Like, it could be even specks in the green. That's kind of fun. You know what? Why don't we try that and see what happens? Worst case, you can see how mine looks, and you can be like, no, I don't want to do it. So I'm just pure yellow. Oh, everything's still kind of wet. I don't know, I think even like if we just put just like slight, like little kisses of it, I think that could look pretty cool. I don't know, what do you think? If you want to be more, oh shoot, did I do that? It's okay. Putting my hand in wet paint. I always do it. I think that looks neat. I'm going to tone that down a little bit with the green. Right. Otherwise, you might, like, what could also work is if you put like, sorry, you could be more intentional with it, and then even do maybe similar patterns like little dots of like little like yellow flecks. I think that could be kind of neat too. If you were really like that, like little baby dots, I think that could be kind of cool too. Right? So you kind of have this whole mirroring of patterns like in the fur, but also like in the eyeball. That's kind of neat. Very little dotties. Yeah, I think that looks kind of cool actually. Like that. What do you think? It's funny because I was thinking about the yellow too. Alternately, I think it might look neat to put like before we did those white spots, if we had made it like almost like a gradient where maybe like it was more yellow around where the black was, and then it went more to like a green to like a black, so make the actual eyeball that color. That could be kind of neat too. So yeah, all right, cool, super cool. Yeah, I like it too. I think it's cool. And isn't it nuts? Like as soon as like the black and the white, once you start putting those accents, everything pops. And that's why you just need to trust the process, because I do it all the time, that I second guess it as I'm doing it. And there's so many times when I've been like, let me just get this going so you can see me a little bit. Too bad you have to see me now. But there's so many times where I've been painting with you all live, and as I'm going through it, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this looks horrible. What am I doing? How am I showing people how to do this? But then you have to just kind of push through and trust the process. And you'll see that as you keep layering and keep building, then it comes to life, right? And that's what I love about it. But it's definitely scary for someone who, for a lot of us, I think, and who want to make sure it looks nice. My camera's moving as I talk. Okay, yeah. I guess it just has to be lower. Maybe I'll just do it like that. Okay, there we go. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate you all, and I love the engagement that we had. It was really fun. Again, if you are interested, every week on Wednesday, there'll be another painting that'll be up. The March calendar is up, and the events for March are all up. So you can see what's going to be coming up and join in. There's another pretty creative one that's coming up in 2 weeks. Next week, we're doing a paint from photo. So yeah, it should be a fun rest of March. So definitely let anyone else know who might be interested. Again, these are always up, so if you want to go back and take a look at any of the other painting parties that we've done, you can go ahead and see and join in. And please, again, if you paint along, even to something that's happened a long time ago, share your photos, because I'd love to see what you've done with it. And again, if you're interested in having like your own virtual paint party, reach out to me at lisaspaintingparties.com, and you'll see the information there. Or you can private message me here, and I can talk to you about that as well. That is about that. I hope you all had a good time. I really enjoyed it. Have a great rest of your week, paint partiers. See you all later. Bye.